In Psalm 18, it says this: He sent from above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me. For they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Well, hello. I'm John Kuert, interim pastor at Alpha Assembly in Clarion, Pennsylvania, and bringing to you another heart-to-heart talk. Thanks for jumping on board and being with me for this short devotional, and I hope it will be a blessing to you and uplift in your spiritual walk. Well, in this psalm, David was looking back after a great deliverance. He was rejoicing because the Lord had rescued him from his enemies. In Psalm 18:3, he says, I will call upon the Lord who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. Indeed, David had just been through a terrible time of testing, and Saul had put a bounty on his head and had chased him relentlessly, so that he was forced to sleep in caves and dens and open fields. David said of that dark time, the sorrows of hell surrounded me, and I lived in distress. Ungodly men made me afraid. My enemies were too strong for me. They all hated me. But you know what, folks? God came roaring out of the heavens to deliver David. He bowed the heavens also and came down, it says, and darkness was under his feet. And the Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. All that comes from different verses of Psalm 18. And so demon powers had surrounded David. The enemy had come in like a flood. And yet David was able to say, God came roaring forth to pull me out of those swirling waters. He rescued me from all my troubles. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. David could say, the reason God delivered me from all my enemies, from all my sorrows, and the powers of hell is because I am precious to him. My God delights in me. Now, in your experience, if you need deliverance, whatever it is, whatever enemy is attacking you day in and day out, whether it's from lust or temptation or trial, whether your problem is mental or spiritual or emotional or physical, this verse is the key to your victory. And the key is simply this: God delights in you. You are precious to him. Now, delight translates a wonderful word in Hebrew, one of the love words of the Old Testament. And he is saying that not only is he beloved of God, but there is a joyful element in God's love. God is attracted to him. This is not love as a judicial determination or just a responsibility. It is true that God does love us because he committed himself to do so. But that's not what is highlighted here. David recognizes that God seeks and enjoys him. God's face brightens in a smile at the thought of his beloved. The word delight conveys the idea of joyful attraction. If we could believe of ourselves what David has announced of himself, we would never be the same. God created us for fellowship with himself, and he delights in our company. He's got his eyes on you, not because he's waiting to zap you when you make a mistake, but because he loves you so much he can't take his eyes off of you. If we can just get this, it's the secret to entering into the rest and peace and fellowship that God has promised us. And that will ultimately lead you to victorious living, just like it did for David. So stop dwelling on your downfalls and think how he delights in you. It will make all the difference in your life. And just to broaden our scope here in this short devotional, you know what, folks? God delights in Israel as well. They are his people. In 1 Chronicles 16, in our prayer meeting tonight, Wednesday night, we have prayer meetings. That's what God said in his word, that he was going to take care of his people, that he made a covenant with them, with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and with his people. He's not going to forget them. He delights in them. We don't understand why there's so many people that hate the Jews. But surely that in itself seems to be an indication that they must be of God, because people hate God the same way. So we need to pray for the peace in Israel and rest assured that God delights in them. He will bring us through. He will bring them through. And who knows, but that this might be a gateway into that time period that is described in the book of Revelation, when Christ will come back and take his children out of this world. And then there will be a period of great tribulation for 7 years. In fact, we may even be experiencing some of the storm clouds gathering for that great tribulation. But through it all, just remember this: God delights in you. If you're trying your best, if you're loving him and you're trying to serve him and being faithful, God delights in you. Even if you don't do that, you know what? God delights in you. And that's the amazing thing. He'll take care of us, don't worry. So that's it for today, and I hope it's an uplifting thought for you. And I pray that someday we might have the privilege of a meeting. If you don't have a church, we'd love to have you at Alpha Assembly, located at 799 Grand Avenue Extension in Clarion, Pennsylvania, just down from the campus of Clarion University. Until then, God bless you, and hopefully we'll see you again on another message from my heart to yours. Bye-bye.